Imagine building your dream car company only to be arrested on national television for drug trafficking, a crime you didn't commit. This is exactly what happened to John DeLorean in 1982, just as his iconic stainless steel sports car was fighting for survival. The accusation that would forever change automotive history wasn't just false, it was a carefully orchestrated setup. The stainless steel dream. The 1970s weren't particularly kind to American automakers. The oil crisis had strangled the muscle car scene, emissions regulations were tightening, and foreign competition was gaining ground. But for John DeLorean, GM's youngest division head in history, this presented an opportunity to rewrite the automotive rulebook entirely. At 40, DeLorean had become a corporate rock star within General Motors. He transformed Pontiac from a stodgy brand into a performance powerhouse with the GTO and climbed the corporate ladder with almost supernatural speed. The automotive press dubbed this golden boy the heir apparent to the GM throne, complete with executive suite, custom-tailored suits, and corner office. Why would a man at the peak of his career, earning the equivalent of about $3.5 million today, walk away from it all? DeLorean abandoned guaranteed wealth, power, and prestige to start from scratch. His resignation letter hit GM executives like a sledgehammer to the windshield. Their star performer had turned his back on the American corporate dream. DeLorean envisioned an ethical sports car, safe, long-lasting, and fuel-efficient, yet still exciting to drive. The DMC-12 would be his rebellion against planned obsolescence and uninspired design. It would stand as a four-wheeled critique of his former employer and signal a new direction for the industry. The struggling British government recognized a golden opportunity in DeLorean's plans. Northern Ireland faced 30% unemployment and civil unrest, particularly in West Belfast. The proposed car factory promised 2,500 jobs, acting like economic defibrillator paddles to a flatline local economy. The British government invested £100 million, approximately $120 million, to transform a potato field into a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in just 18 months. The car's design choices reflected DeLorean's bold vision. The unpainted stainless steel exterior, 304 grade panels measuring precisely 0.5 millimeters thick, eliminated problems of fading, chipping, and rust. The gull-wing doors, which swept upward like a bird taking flight, required less space to open than conventional doors, making tight parking spots manageable. Italian design legend Giorgetto Giugiaro, creator of the Lotus Esprit and Maserati Bora, gave the DMC-12 its distinctive wedge shape. His involvement lent immediate credibility to DeLorean's project. The prototype looked like nothing else on the road, which was precisely the point. As automotive journalists praised the concept, production realities created friction. American engineers clashed with the Lotus team brought in to expedite development. The engineering team spoke different languages, both literally and figuratively, with one group focused on innovation while the other worried about regulations and cost. Despite these growing pains, car and driver called it the most promising sports car America has ever seen. Thousands of dealer applications flooded in with $25,000 deposits. For DeLorean, this was about proving an independent manufacturer could challenge the big three and creating something new in an industry grown complacent. Engineering reality. Innovation may have been DeLorean's North Star, but what happens when your groundbreaking sports car is outperformed by vehicles costing $9,000 less? The gap between the DMC-12's show-stopping looks and its underwhelming performance became automotive's most expensive paradox of the early 1980s. For all its futuristic styling and space-age appearance, the DMC-12 was shockingly slow. The car's 2.85-liter PRV V6 engine produced a mere 130 horsepower, adequate for a family sedan, perhaps, but downright anemic for a vehicle that looked ready for interstellar travel. When drivers pushed the accelerator to the floor, the DeLorean responded with all the enthusiasm of a cat on a rainy day, taking between 9.5 and 10 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour. Imagine expecting a rocket ship and getting a leisurely Sunday drive. While the DMC-12 crawled to 60 miles per hour, the Chevrolet Corvette sprinted there in just 7.2 seconds, and Porsche left both in the dust at 6.3 seconds. Road and Track didn't mince words, describing the car as not quick for a sports GT car in this price category. Its top speed, a mere 110 miles per hour, cementing its reputation as a car that wrote checks its engine couldn't cash. Weight distribution proved another engineering headache. 35% front, 65% rear. The result? Handling characteristics that fell dramatically short of sports car expectations. The DMC-12's signature features created practical nightmares too. Those mirror-finished stainless steel panels revealed every fingerprint and smudge in daily use, while the spectacular gull-wing doors created alignment and sealing challenges that left many owners discovering their beautiful doors leaked during rainstorms. Engineering problems multiplied rapidly. The company established quality assurance centers across the United States, each early DMC-12 requiring up to 200 hours of rework before delivery. This costly admission that cars weren't ready for customers cut deeply into profits while delaying deliveries to frustrated buyers. Price became another insurmountable obstacle. At $25,000 in 1981, about $84,000 today, the DMC-12 competed against established manufacturers offering superior performance and reliability. The Corvette, at just $16,000, delivered more speed and fewer headaches. Desperate to improve margins, DeLorean attempted price increases to $29,825 in 1982 and $34,000 in 1983, making an already tough sell virtually impossible. Unsold inventory grew while production issues persisted. Buyers reported problems with suspension components, clutch adjustment, brake rotors, and electrical systems. Word spread quickly, and sales momentum stalled. The DMC-12's troubled development revealed the enormous challenge of moving from striking concept to reliable production vehicle. Cultural clashes between American engineers and Lotus specialists created additional friction, with different approaches to problem solving, leading to compromises that satisfied neither camp while deadlines continued slipping, increasing financial pressure with each passing day. The cocaine sting. As financial pressure mounted and DeLorean Motor Company bled cash at an alarming rate, John DeLorean found himself trapped in a corporate nightmare. By 1982, his dream wasn't just fading, it was careening toward bankruptcy. The company's desperate situation set the stage for what would become one of the most controversial FBI operations in automotive history. With creditors circling and unsold cars filling storage lots, DeLorean's search for financial salvation grew increasingly frantic. He'd already invested millions of his personal fortune, but it wasn't enough to stem the tide of red ink. Each passing day pushed his automotive dream closer to collapse. What happened next would transform this story from a tale of business failure into something far more explosive. Enter James Hoffman, a convicted drug smuggler with his own legal problems. Hoffman approached DeLorean with what seemed like a lifeline, a way to generate the cash needed to save the company. What DeLorean didn't know was that Hoffman was working with the FBI, seeking to reduce his own sentence by delivering a high-profile target. The trap was set, exploiting DeLorean's vulnerability and desperation. The operation was meticulously orchestrated. Hoffman manipulated DeLorean into discussions about a potential drug deal, secretly recording their conversations. For a man with no criminal history who had spent decades as a respected auto executive, this world was entirely foreign. Yet the financial precipice on which his company teetered made even the unthinkable seem worth considering. The sting culminated in October 1982, when DeLorean walked into a hotel room containing 55 pounds of cocaine worth $24 million. FBI cameras rolled as DeLorean examined the drugs. Soon after, agents burst in, arresting him on charges of drug trafficking. The man who once commanded boardrooms at General Motors now found himself in handcuffs, facing the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison. The media explosion was immediate and devastating. DeLorean's mugshot, the once dapper executive now looking haggard and shocked, appeared on television screens and newspapers worldwide. The contrast couldn't have been more stark. The visionary behind a futuristic stainless steel sports car, now branded as a cocaine trafficker. Public perception shifted overnight. For the already struggling DeLorean Motor Company, this was the death blow. Dealers, unwilling to be associated with a brand tainted by scandal, abandoned ship. Financial backers withdrew their support. Workers at the Belfast factory, who had placed their hopes in DeLorean's vision, suddenly faced unemployment. The assembly lines ground to a halt as the company spiraled into bankruptcy. DeLorean's legal team built their defense around a claim of entrapment, arguing that he was unfairly induced into a crime he would never have considered under normal circumstances. They contested the recordings, claiming the statements were taken out of context and manipulated to create a false impression. The prosecution portrayed DeLorean as an active, willing participant in the drug deal. After a high-profile trial that became a media spectacle, the jury ultimately sided with the defense. DeLorean was acquitted of all charges, legally vindicating him, but the victory came too late. By the time the verdict was announced, DeLorean Motor Company had already collapsed, and the damage to his reputation was irreversible. The cocaine sting revealed how fragile entrepreneurial ventures can be, not just financially, but in terms of public perception. A single event, a momentary lapse in judgment born of desperation, had erased years of innovation and effort. What's particularly tragic is that the FBI operation specifically targeted DeLorean because of his vulnerability, capitalizing on his determination to save not just his company, but the jobs of thousands of workers who depended on him. The DeLorean story raises uncomfortable questions about law enforcement tactics and the line between legitimate investigation and entrapment. Would John DeLorean ever have become involved with cocaine trafficking if not for the deliberate manipulation by an informant exploiting his financial distress? The jury's verdict suggests not. When the dust settled on DeLorean's legal battle, he walked away a free man, but his automotive dream lay in ruins. Would DMC have survived without the cocaine scandal? Perhaps. Companies have overcome financial hurdles before, but the FBI sting severed all remaining lifelines instantly. The true irony came years later when Back to the Future transformed this failed car into one of history's most recognizable vehicles. What was once a symbol of automotive ambition, derailed by controversy, became a beloved cultural icon, proof that perception shapes legacy more than reality. If you enjoy these tales of automotive legends caught in human drama, subscribe for more stories of remarkable cars that changed history in ways their creators never imagined.